June is National Home Ownership Month, and we're celebrating first-time home buyers by giving some helpful home buying tips. Here to raise awareness and education about the common pitfalls that come with buying a new home and how to avoid them is Patrick Dennis, loan officer at Bank of Little Rock Mortgage. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. I remember, first-time home buyer, so scared, so nervous, so confused. We're here to help, though. What's the number one thing people are doing wrong when they're out buying their first house? Yeah, we're definitely here to help. And the first big mistake that they make is not getting pre-approved for a mortgage. Before, I can't tell you how many realtors call me and say, hey, can you get this person or this couple pre-approved? Before you're going to look at a house, that's the first thing you really need to do. Right, so before you're searching on Zillow or calling your whatever person, friend in the realty business, you need to know what you can afford, right? That's true. So you don't want to go out there and drive around neighborhoods or look online, fall in love with a house, and you don't even know if you qualify for it yet, or the difference between qualifying and what you can afford as well. Yeah, because some things they might say, the bank might even say, hey, you can afford maybe a $300,000 house, but what would that do to your budget? That might be too much. Yeah, so that could overextend you, right. And that's not what you want to do when you're buying your first home. You want to make sure that you have some money set aside for any kind of an emergency, things of that nature, and this is an expense that you're going to have for years to come. What are some other questions that people have for you and the mistakes they're making? So I think one of the big things is they're not prepared before they come to see me as well, or before they go out and look for the house, I should say. You want to get your credit prepared. That's one of the major things. You want to make sure your credit cards are within 30% of their capacity. You also want to make sure that there's no mistakes on there or surprises when you're going out there and you find that home that you want, and all of a sudden you're not pre-approved, or you've got a hiccup on your credit report. A big problem for people who are trying to buy the first home is the down payment. Everyone thinks, man, 20%, how am I going to afford 20%? 20% is a lot of money. Is that necessary, though? Not necessary. It's a big myth that 20% is what you have to have for a down payment. We have programs as little as 3% down, and there's actually city and state programs that can provide a down payment for you, as well as some of the closing costs. Yeah, so what are some ways to save money for first-time home buyers then? So there are several different programs besides conventional loans. We have FHA loans out there where they're a little more lenient on credit challenges. You have VA loans that are obviously deserving for our veterans who fight for our freedom. Those are 100% loans. We have rural development that are on the outskirts of the city, kind of eligible by location. USDA loans, right? Yeah. Correct, yeah. And sometimes those are right across the interstate from the city. I mean, I've known some people literally right across the interstate. It can be a street away, qualified and not qualified. Yeah. So sometimes low percent down versus 20% down. Correct, yeah. And we do have a home ready program right now that's a 3% down for first-time home buyers, and that's got a low mortgage insurance rate as well as a low rate for the property. PMI is a whole other ballgame. How can people get a hold of you guys? You can reach us at bankoflittlerockmortgage.com or call us at up on our office in Cantrell at 219-9100. We've been there for about 20 years. I've been there for 10 of those. I appreciate you very much for helping answer some questions for us. Over to you.